Greetings, fellow humans. Welcome to This Week I'm Learning, the podcast where we dispense nuggets of decomposing information with a side of rant sauce. Sometimes it's more sauce than nuggets. This is episode 32, recorded January 30th, 2021, and I'm your host, Brandon Vader, also known as Dracanis. Down below me, Psychonitrous, also known as Cody Stratman. He is the rant sauce, although I will be heavily chipping into that this week. Directly next door to me, Charlie Stifler, also known as Mjolnir, down in the corner in a cornfield for some reason this week. Colton Roper, also known as Seeker4761. Apparently,
come play with us.
He's an
the amount
alien?
of ears of corn that he has eaten today is the factoid I'm seeing on my screen. That's a lot of corn, dude.
The kernels
Are
of
you
corn
okay?
in his poop right now.
Just corn.
I was gonna say, I think it's just straight cobs.
my favorite band is Corn. I like to eat the corn.
It's pretty
It's
corny.
a good band.
It's corn. It's a corny joke. You know how it is. My life is corn.
Corn?
But
I mean,
Cornflakes.
Corn muffins, cornbread,
corn bran.
Okay.
podcast of corn. But I do have a question for you, Brandon. Are you the knight?
I am the night. I am the darkness.
You're very dark. You're very dark this week.
Yeah, I forgot to grab the charge panel or the charge cord for my light panel. I am unable to shift my room around enough to get the light that is behind me to beside or in front of me. So you'll have to deal with the halo effect.
It's very
'Cause
angelic.
I am a perfect angel, and we all know this.
As he bursts into flames.
I can think
Wrong to lie on the internet,
4,760.
Brandon.
Yeah, and I can think of 4,761 reasons why not.
Hey, that number means something. I don't know to who.
Oh. That took me way too... I feel disappointed and sad at myself.
Well, we're disappointed and sad in you too.
Well, thanks.
You're
So it's a
welcome.
normal day. Anyways, no, I'm just kidding. Just kidding, Brandon. Hey, I'll
So-
do it again. I love you.
So,
Love you too.
I propose that we eliminate seasons because they're pretty much meaningless and we just do episode numbers.
No.
That has been my thing since the start, because most other podcasts that we watch collectively as a group or listen to separately, almost all of them, if they have a episode number rather than just, today is this day and we're recording. If they have any sort of number scheme, it is episode number. And I think that's really cool, because then when we hit, 100, it's 100, not, well, this is episode 2 season, or
Yeah.
season 2 episode.
But
It's not a
But
TV
here's
show.
but
This is
here's
our
the thing.
100th.
Here's the counterpoint. Because I am for the season idea, but if you look at a TV show, you don't go season 2 episode 1. It's you can go season 2 episode whatever the next one is in sequence from the previous season. The three you can do that. There's really no
You can.
rules of anything.
I was going to
And
say, but
counterpoint,
also,
I listen to 3 other podcasts and they all do seasons. And they all have
Really?
over a million listeners. So
All of the but more people doesn't make things right. Like, something being more popular doesn't make it more right.
So
it just means
So the question I have is, why is it wrong to say this is season 2, episode 32? Like, I don't see what's wrong with that.
it's
additional
It
verbiage
doesn't-
that isn't needed.
Yeah, it's not like we have a theme. It's not like, okay,
I need
this
to drink
season
more.
the theme is this. We haven't done that. Maybe the theme is vaccination. I don't know.
That's
Like,
just because of when we started.
yeah. It's like, if we had that, if it was like a TV show where it was like, this is the 7th season of the TV show. I guess they don't really have themes either, but But still,
they do. There's
I
usually
guess
like
we kind of do.
so
Yeah,
there's
and
the
then there's a
cliffhanger
finale.
at the end.
Yeah.
There's the cliffhanger at the end, and then the first episode resolves it, and then it builds up to another cliffhanger, and so on and so forth. And we don't, as a podcast, we don't do that. We are very
I mean,
listen
unless,
to our rants.
I think
Yeah.
that should be the theme for this season, because I have control over naming the episodes. So this is going to be a fun fight for the entirety of 2021.
Then I mean,
We should table this.
Yeah, let's table this for later. If our viewers have an opinion, please let us know.
Please help us.
TWIL at thetechpirate.net.
Cool.
Yep.
Airing out our
Okay.
dirty laundry for the world. I love it.
Just
We're a very open podcast here.
There's our whitey tighties with the brown skid marks that make it look like we hit a deer.
all
damn it.
right. We no.
Nasty. You nasty, Brandon. You nasty.
Okay.
God.
All right. Enough.
All right. So this will be a little bit of a rant-tacular, but I think
by
it's going to be
me.
a really good show. No, surprisingly by me. But Cody is going to tell us about the world's largest building that is going to produce a lot less soon. Did I read that or did I have a stroke?
You read it correctly, and I actually know what he's talking about.
Yeah, it's probably my writing actually.
I actually know
Okay.
what he's talking about.
Yeah.
See, are we
I'm
talking
deeply
fruit?
confused.
Like produce as in fruit?
No, world's largest building, which I know the answer to that trivia question.
Yep.
Burj Khalifa.
That makes produce? I know.
Don't tell him.
Purposely big.
Okay, next. Cody,
Okay.
what is the next person going to talk about?
And that smag is so much better than smog. It could just be like a mispronunciation or an accent. Like, did you see the smag today?
Nope, it's SMAG.
Smag! Now with
Smag!
300% more smag.
It's better than smog. You'll
Like
see why
that?
soon.
Awesome.
And Charlie is going to talk about that one GiMmE subject for the week with certain letters of GiMmE. Well, spelled incorrectly on purpose, I'm sure.
Yes.
Being capitalized.
I had to get you to say the word, and it was more for the three of you to see the script than anything. But,
Yeah.
So we could
this
put
is
up
going to be
that
good. I'm going to
that's-
enjoy this subject.
that SpongeBob meme where where the there.
No,
We're not
we
going
are,
to, but we could.
We are an anti, or 1/4 of us is an anti-sub SpongeBob podcast. Yes, one half. Yes, burn that sponge. Or melt it.
I feel like
Napalm it.
Brandon's gonna say that time keeps on slipping. Eevee explosions and GVs take the wheel.
Jeeves.
GVs.
Jeeves.
Is that how you spell Jeeves?
That is how you spell
Like
Jeeves.
Ask Jeeves. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That
I guess it
is.
is.
If you wanted me to
Which
say
is
the
no.
G, you needed me to spell it with the
Conrad.
G. Okay, that's all I'm saying. And I would just like to point out that you're both wrong about the world's largest building. It is not the
Wait.
Burj Khalifa.
I was gonna ask. That's gonna be the first part of this. Is the trivia.
Okay.
So
Ooh.
Yeah.
other than
Okay.
Mjolnir, because I'm pretty sure
Okay.
Mjolnir actually does know.
Yep.
So you said
I already
Burj
said Burj
Khalifa. What did
Khalifa.
Seeker
Oh,
say?
I get it now. I get it now.
What'd you say, Seeker? Or what do you want? What do you?
Are you asking
what
me
are you
formally?
guessing? Yes.
Isn't it like
Sir.
a radio tower or
Nope.
something like that?
Nope.
You're thinking the
'Kay.
wrong way. You're
It
not
is-
thinking volume.
It is the largest
Oh.
usable space building, which would be the Everett factory for Boeing.
Thank you. So
Damn it.
My mom has made second callbacks for Jeopardy 3 times.
wow.
Useless trivia is my thing.
Yeah, I remember a long time ago. I think I was actually looking for like the world's tallest things, and like you're right with tall being Burj Khalifa, and then there's that radio tower in like the Midwest. that is.
That tower actually collapsed a few years ago,
Yep.
if I remember
It's,
correctly.
it's gone.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, go Burj Khalifa. But we're not talking about the Burj Khalifa today, because the Everett Boeing factory is now only going to produce a few more 747s, and then no more new 747s. That's all,
Really?
folks. Yep.
Press F.
So,
Oh, yeah. 747, sorry.
yep, the big ones, the big humpy ones.
Yep.
They've got
God damn
the
it,
upper
Colton.
deck, and you see them in
It's
movies.
got the guppy back.
Yeah, like Die Hard 2 and what was that one with the first president? Air Force One.
Air Force
And
One. Fucking
then
amazing show.
Harrison
I need to watch
Ford.
that again.
That's a great movie. Don't
Get
you
off my
Get off
do
my
that
plane.
to
God
her.
damn it, Colton.
It's a great
I'm
movie.
on fire tonight.
But pretty much when you see an airplane landing, like, you're like, we're gonna travel somewhere today, like at the beginning of the movie, and
Oh, yeah,
there's an
yeah.
epic travel sequence, and then they're landing. It's always a 747. It doesn't matter if like that flight was like a short, hot flight. They're like, guys, cue the stock footage of the 747 landing.
And it's always and it always looks like the plane isn't like landing straight. It's always landing at an angle. Is what I've
It
always
always looks
noticed
like a
in those scenes.
crosswind
Crabbing.
landing.
Yeah, there's
I mean,
always
it
a
could be
crosswind.
crosswind, yeah.
Makes it interesting with the smoke on the tires when they land, I'm sure.
True. Yeah.
And the little bounce on the wingtips.
Yep. Gotta have that. We're gonna miss that aircraft. Most of you don't
I
know
never
that
got
yet.
to
They're
fly on
they're
that
making
aircraft.
the last one. They're not decommissioning the last.
That is true. Even though, so I did talk about in season 1
Thank you.
about in one of the earlier episodes about how the passenger ones you're going to be harder and harder pressed to fly on one. But there are a few airlines with the 747-8s. Now, the freighters, the last freighter variants of the 747s, are now actually not being produced. Well, the last few are being produced, and then they will cease being produced. So, what cargo airline got the last few 747s? Let's do
FedEx.
guesses. Okay, Mjolnir?
DHL.
I guess UPS would be my last one. I
Uh,
don't know of any other ones at the end.
no, actually, there's a lot of different cargo airlines. This was
There's
a
tons.
cheap question because I figured none of you would get it. Atlas is actually getting... It's one of those things where they're not ground cargo. It's pretty much all
air
freight.
only.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
I mean, yeah, granted, with your guesses, I mean, I'd say Mjolnir is the closest because the colors kind of match. So I'll give it to him.
Thank
So
you.
he's 2 for 2 for today, by the way.
Useless
Which-
internet points.
And I am just
Just-
getting started.
Just like whose line is it anyway? The points don't fucking matter.
10 points for Gryffindor. That's all that matters.
So the Everett
Ravenclaw.
Hufflepuff?
Are you a dirty Hufflepuff, Seeker?
There's nothing wrong with Hufflepuff.
Dirty Hufflepuff.
And with his cynicism, I think he's a Slytherin. I think Cody's a Slytherin.
So we
thing about-
represent
I
all
don't
4
know
houses here.
Nor
Ah,
care
that is
about that
a-
universe enough.
To be fair, he might be a Slitherpuff.
A Slitherpuff.
A Raven
Sounds like a new cereal. Slitherpuff by Kellogg's.
It's only
Enjoy
no, only
it with your
50%
forked
evil.
tongue.
Learn to talk to snakes.
Great for lizard people.
You're trying to kill me.
I think
would
that
the
we may have
toy
found
be
our
on the
title there,
inside?
Cody, with your new naming scheme for this year. Slitherpuffs.
Chosen
betting that
number
the-
one. Chosen number 1 by. Oh, I just had
He
a
who
freaking-
must not be named.
No.
He who can't remember?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, I was gonna say Weens
No.
because
Chosen
then it
number
would probably
1 by Mark
taste really
Zuckerberg.
good if it was Weens. Yeah, okay. You guys probably don't know who he is.
No.
Recording oddities.
He's
I love it.
He's a food
Going right
person.
there.
Anyway, so this factory also produces the Boeing 767, which is kind of older at this point. The 777, which actually I'm not sure how long they're producing those for. It began in 1993, so they might still have a little bit of... I know that there's the new 777 or the 777, I don't know if it's Dash X or just X, but I don't know if that's actually being produced in Everett or not. But that's an interesting aircraft in itself because it's got the foldy wingtips on it.
Yep.
And the 787 used to be produced there, but they're actually moving the production of those to a different facility. So really the question in the airline industry is, what are they going to produce in Everett going forward after these aircraft are delivered? And
Well, logically, it would be the 797, but I don't think they've just developed that yet.
yeah, there hasn't really... I haven't heard any rumors about it. That doesn't mean that it hasn't happened, because I'm not in the industry. I just pay kind of attention to it.
They're going to start following Apple's lead, and whenever they start naming their stuff,
Oh my
Boeing's
God.
going to follow with their planes.
Boeing Mountain Lion.
The Boeing 2021.
Or no, go with
edition.
a different cat or a different animal. It'll be like
Ocelot.
no, not cats.
Babu! Serpentine!
Yes, there we go.
It's like Mauschwitz in there.
They're going to start putting snakes on a plane?
Get off my plane, you fucking snakes.
You know what cereal
Get 'em on
they'll
it.
serve?
No.
Slitherpuffs. God,
Title.
such title.
You're welcome.
So where are they producing the 787? If it's not at
That's
that
gonna
facility?
be South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it used to be produced there. Then they're moving a lot of stuff to South Carolina. I forget if where they're doing the 737s, but it might be in that factory. I'm not sure. So, yeah, I'm just not sure. So it'll be interesting to see what's there coming forward. I'm sure people there are kind of nervous. I really want to take a tour of that facility, but they've been suspended because all fun things are canceled. So
Not all fun things.
Just most fun things that you can do with
That
another
he could
person.
do in a crowd. I suppose you could once.
What are you eating, Brandon? Because that was the
Slitherpuffs.
creepiest fucking action. Oh, Andy's mints. Okay.
Oh, okay. It looked like a condom
best
wrapper
mint.
for a
I
second.
thought that was a condom as well, Brandon.
Lighting is important, kids. Lighting is very important.
Especially when he shows it and it's
You know
a
what?
square.
Remember
and
your
it's got
electronic
like
cords.
a slight amount of definition.
You guys are fucking assholes. I think that just makes it look worse.
This
On
is definitely
camera?
This is definitely one of our funniest episodes.
No, you got to open a text document with just a white background, and that's how you do that.
You know, I could. When my light died last episode, I didn't turn that on. Maybe that's what I just need to fucking do. I hate you guys.
And on that note,
See, I just get one of those like $20 influencer lights that also hold phones from Walmart. That's what I use up there.
Yeah, but I
Works
don't
pretty
want to
well.
spend extra money. I
He's-
have
he's-
a really nice one. I just forgot the cord.
yeah, and
See, that's a lot better white balance.
Yeah, but now I've got all the whatever.
But you have no halo.
yeah,
you can
there
be
we go.
Satan.
He's demonic now. You know why he's demonic now? It's probably the Slitherpuffs.
Every important part of a balanced breakfast.
Colton,
All right.
why don't you take this away now, since that was a...
Please, for the love
Short.
of God, save us.
So,
Yeah,
smag.
Smag.
Tell us about
Smag us.
SMAG.
Smag us.
Mag! We're talking climate change a little bit. So that's fun, isn't it? It's fun. Fun episode. Well, not only
We'll
that.
tie
but,
into my topic too.
little bit quick facts. 97% of actively publishing climate scientists agree that the warming trends around the world are in fact caused by human activity. It's causing many issues around the world. With specifically, what I'm going to talk about is the desertification of land around the world. Basically, it is the degradation of land based on what types of plants and animals it can support, also related to the percentage of water in the soil and the air. So it's aridity, if you will. According to the UN, 20% of all land in the world is actually degrading in this way, with 45% of that land being cropland and rangeland. Cropland is, well, obviously land that can support large areas of crops, hence my background, the corn. Rangeland, around 50% of the world's livestock is actually supported by rangeland. So we're talking very important arable land is in danger due to, climate change at this point. Economists have found that every year around $42 billion US is actually lost in terms of economic output due to the desertification of the land around the world. Wow. Because of the degradation of these lands, many nations' breadbaskets are actually in danger due to the loss of water in the soil. So if we're talking human race survival, it's kind of important. Yeah. But SMAG to the rescue. Scientists and engineers at the University of Texas have actually developed a new type of soil that actually pulls water from the air and has the capability to expand farmable lands around the world. And the best part is that it's all done passively. There's no active energy input required with this technology. Specifically, SMAG is actually the super moisture absorbent gels. It's a gel that collects water and distributes water based on the temperature of said gel. So the gels in this particular soil, or SMAG soil, it passively collects water from the air at night when the air tends to be a bit more humid. And during the day, as the gel and the soil heats up, it actually releases that water into the soil, and then the process starts up the following night. So again, no active energy input required at all. Studies at the University of Texas have showed that a gram of this SMAG soil can extract about 3 to 4 grams of water, and depending on the crops, anywhere from 0.1 kilograms to a full kilogram of soil can be enough to irrigate a square meter of farmland. They've also found that SMAG soil is able to retain water far better than sandy soils found in dry areas. And with that, it also can turn sandy desertified soils into more arable types of soil. It's actually been found that while most soils around the world can support plants and crops, the major limiting factor is pretty much water, like most of the time. The amount of water that's actually available in the soil. Obviously, there's some land that isn't arable due to salt content or radiation, but most of the land can support crops based on, well, the nutrients that are in it. Let's see here. 1.5 billion people around the world depend on land that is actively degrading, with the major portion of these people living in developing countries. Using SMAG soil can actually be an inexpensive and significantly more efficient alternative to large-scale irrigation projects. One particularly interesting experiment showed that radishes that have been grown during a 14-day period all survived in the SMAG soil after only the initial watering, and no extra watering after that, while radishes grown in a more deserty, sandy type of soil died within 2 days of the initial waterings, just like that. So, again, it's still in its infancy, but this particular technology has the potential to, well, arableize the land. It's not a real word. That is a Roper trade. That's the word. We're gonna go with that.
Regenerate.
Yeah. Instead of D.
I've got a question for you. I'm sure it's proprietary, but what the hell is SMAG made of? And how expensive is it to make? And what goes into making it?
Yeah.
In terms of expense, it's not terribly cheap, at least according to the article I found. But it's also in its infancy, just like any other technology. If they can find a way to mass produce it, then obviously costs will go down. And it's basically, I couldn't really find exactly what it's made of because they only recently, I think it was in November, they actually announced this particular technology. It's just a gel, a water absorbent gel that apparently reacts to temperature. That's all it is. I don't know the exact chemical composition, but yeah, they're definitely. Like I said, it's brand new technology. They're actually hopefully in time they'll actually be able to make it happen on a large scale. But this particular gel is also being tested as a way to cool solar panels passively, as well as data centers, which makes sense. You water the system, and at night it cools down. Well, excuse me. At night it's able to suck up the water from the solar panel, and during the day it will slowly disintegrate. Well, Jesus, words.
Disseminate.
Yeah, that's the word. Disseminate the water to, hot components. So while making it more, obviously 100% efficient because there's no active energy input required. They're also looking at expanding access to safe drinking water as well. Using a lot of this particular gel can, as far as I know, it's not poisonous. That's what they've said. It's not poisonous, obviously, because it could be used to grow crops. So theoretically, you could put a whole bunch of it and I don't know. I think they kind of explained like just a giant tub of some sort. Put this stuff at the top, and it's able to obviously pull
use it as a
water out of the air,
system.
And essentially it's a filtration system in some ways.
Okay.
Do you want moisture farmers on Tatooine?
It's
because this is how you get moisture farmers on Tatooine.
It's exactly
Damn you, Charlie, you
moisture
beat me
farmer.
to it.
So, turns out, the science of Star Wars has some basis in reality at this point. So, it's cool. I said they're just looking at large scale production. In terms of, again, because it is the developing countries that are going to be really affected by climate change, at least according to the studies I've seen, it is still, even if it's somewhat expensive to actually create this particular substance in this soil, it's still arguably going to be cheaper than large scale irrigation projects, dams, all that kind of stuff as well. And in the end, it's significantly more efficient and can help the world in some ways. So,
One last question. Does this material degrade over time? Or have they gotten that far in testing yet?
They have found it is able to retain up to, I think I saw 75% of its efficiency in terms of its ability to
Absorb
have water and disseminate water and absorb water. I think they found they're expecting it to keep up to 75% efficiency for 5 years. That's kind of what they've said. So it will degrade a little bit over time, but again, brand new technology. Maybe they can make it more efficient. Maybe on a large scale, it won't matter. Theoretically, if you put it into soil that's already wet, it will actually last longer because, makes sense because there's a whole lot of factors that they're trying to figure out right now, but it's still kind of heartening to see that. So who knows?
Yeah, it's a step in the right
technology.
direction. That's awesome.
Technology will save us or it will kill us. Hopefully, this particular thing will actually save us in this case.
Let's hope.
But on, I guess, a good note, depends on what Charlie's going to talk about. Charlie, what do you talk about, GiMmE?
So GiMmE, the capitalized letters in that tagline is GME, which, if anyone knows, is the stock exchange tag for GameStop Corporation. Does anyone care to guess the valuation of said stock on January 6th of this year?
January
stock?
6th.
$6
like
and 82 cents.
$5?
18. It was $18. And anyone want to guess what it closed at today or on Friday?
I think it was almost
75?
600.
Even higher?
325. So, to explain this 21,000% increase in valuation, which would normally demonstrate decades of good growth.
Because we
We're
all know
gonna-
GameStop is a company that's become more and more innovative over the years.
Right?
It's totally a growth economic there.
So, I have to explain what the hell a short sell is and what the hell a short squeeze is, and then we can infer exactly what's happening to the stock market right now. So the first things first is, what is a short sell? So a short sell, Brandon, you're going to be a stockbroker. Congratulations, you've got lots of stock. I am going to borrow 5 shares of stock from you. Okay, in this case, I'm going to pick GameStop. Okay? Why, thank you. Okay, so I've got those 5 shares, and what I want to do, these are still your shares. I have to give them back to you in a defined period, whether it's a day or a week or a month or a year. Defined period. Normally it's a day. I have to make a decision on whether I think the stock is going to go up in price or whether it's going to go down in price. A short sell is banking on the fact that the price is going to go down. So what I'm going to do at the beginning of that transaction, as soon as you give me your shares, I'm going to sell them. I'm going to sell them to Colton because he's a schmuck and he's in a cornfield and he doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. So he's going to pay...
You fancy Eastern stockbroker types.
Right. So I'm going to pay... he's going to pay me $18 a share. And what I'm going to do...
Will you take that in corn?
No.
Damn it.
No, I won't. Yeah. So I'm going to wait for the end of the trading period for the allotted time that Brandon and I agreed upon that I would possess his loaned stocks. And then I'm going to buy... I have to. That's the important part. I have to buy the stocks back from the market. Now, those stocks may belong to Dingus here, or they may have been sold over here to Cody. But if they are worth more than when I bought them, then I am going to be out of all of that money. But if they are worth less than what I got paid for a couple hours ago by Dingus, then I am going to be able to pocket that money. So I get the 5 shares from Brandon. I sell them for $18 to Colton. I wait 12 hours, and the market goes down. And the stocks are now worth $10. I buy those 5 shares back, and as agreed upon, I give them back to their rightful owner, which is Brandon. And I now get to save that $5 or $8 per share as a win. That's fantastic. Now, what the hell happened to GameStop's stock? What you have to know is what a short squeeze is. When you do a short sell, it is not wise to tell everyone what you're doing, because you're selling stocks and you have to buy them at the end of the trading period. So if everyone's like, ooh, if we all bought 5 stocks, that would drive the price up, that would make him lose money, and we would be able to sell our stocks to him because he has to buy them, then we turn an immediate profit. So a squeeze is when the word gets out and the rest of the market says, screw you, hippie, because that's exactly what happened. And the meme that is going around, which we can post right here, is the most fabulous meme of everyone has $600. Everyone hates the stock market. Let's stick it to them. And yeah, we'll show that here. Yes. There is a fantastic old saying from the late 1800s from a speculator named Daniel Drew. He who sells what isn't his'n must buy it back or he go to prison. And on that note, give me a second. Yeah,
An old timey proverb for the modern stock market. That's hilarious.
Yep. Yep. He must.
Hey,
he
I know
must
where
go
that's
to,
from.
He must go to prison. So, with GameStop right now being gigantically inflated, what we're actually seeing is several of the um, Joe Schmo trading platforms like Stash and Robinhood and a couple other uh, medium name brokerages that deal with app trades that are built around a long term investment. They're actually shorting or preventing purchase of the stock to prevent hyperinflation of the price, thus saving the poor SOB that tried to short sell this. What's interesting
The
about the
poor
short sell?
SOB. Yeah.
The poor SOB, the guy that's doing that the three of the five big hedge funds that did this. Um, so what they actually had to do in order to make their money back and not lose billions with a B in money is they actually had to jump on the bandwagon separately and buy stock, which
Yeah, so
is
they had to bet
just
against themselves in a way.
they had to bet against themselves, hoping to offset the loss.
I mean, but
Wow.
it's in a weird way, it's kind of comeuppance.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No,
Yeah.
everyone that's I feel like at my level of societal achievement is like, screw you, dude. You're betting against people. It's one thing to invest in people
Yeah.
and hope that they grow better. It's a completely different thing to say, no, you're
We
gonna
want
fail,
to.
and
We want to
I'm
tank
gonna
this
make a buck on
business.
it.
Yeah, we want to see this business tank.
And we have the means to manipulate the market on a level that a normal person does not have.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see the threads on Wall Street Bets, the Reddit
Oh yeah.
Wall Street Bets, where this is being kind of played out.
Wait. Isn't that where that happened?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
This
one
is
of the
this is where the
comments
leak happened.
was brilliant to say that GameStop actually was the original short seller because you sell your games to GameStop and then they resell the games.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that they'll actually offer more than 45 cents for my games now. They're probably not going to.
Not a chance.
Just like
I actually-
Goodwill. You didn't know that, but Goodwill is actually a for-profit entity. They're not a non-profit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, it's funny. I actually was in Grand Junction 2 weeks ago and tried to go to a GameStop because I was like, oh, hey, I'll pick up some, hopefully, cheap games for my Switch. They were closing down. There was a small box, maybe 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet deep, that said free on it in there. And then there was another box about that same size that was like $5, and the rest of the store was just blank.
Wow.
And it's like, oh, I did get 2 free Xbox masks though.
Yeah.
Cool.
Represent the Microsoft.
Yeah, I mean,
Not to be
I'm a
confused
Microsoft
with
fanboy
SMAG.
anyway. Yeah.
So, that was my 2 penny worth of stock knowledge for the week.
That's actually a really
And-
good explanation. So
Yeah.
that's not just with GameStop too. That was
Right.
happening with AMC. What was the
Yep.
other one? There was one other company.
There were about 10 stocks that were all
Yeah.
being targeted by this.
And then Dogecoin too.
Does anyone know one of the biggest names of people to at the post on Reddit?
Musk.
Elon Musk.
Elon said, "Burn, baby, burn," and absolutely hate short sellers because as
Oh
a
yeah, you're
person
selling shorts.
Yep. So
When I say selling shorts, short shorts, like actual shorts earlier. Like
He can
in the
hate two
summer.
types of shorts.
Yeah.
Hot pants. Nobody needs hot pants, especially not in men's
Like
sizes.
short
No
shorts.
one needs hot pants, but everyone needs Slitherpuffs.
Yeah. That's a registered trademark of TWIL Media Group. Just saying right now.
Not produced
Yeah,
by
I'm sure
Kellogg's.
Pottermore will just fucking love that.
No one's ever thought about combining the houses. It's a brand new idea.
All right, Brandon.
So I have to launch into a bit of a mini rant before we get to my actual topic. I was researching this topic earlier today, and they said last week, and it threw me into just a bitch fit because they're talking about news that was broke on Thursday. It is currently Saturday of the weekend, and they are saying last week.
Semantics.
Could be Hong Kong, maybe.
Okay, even if they did write it Sunday because they're somewhere else, this is still the week.
I agree with you. Yeah, weekend. Yep.
So
End of the week.
when you guys think of a calendar, let's do just a quick poll. What does your week start with? What day of the week?
Monday, one day. Tuesday.
Colton?
When? What day? Thursday, the third day.
I don't really have a set schedule anymore, so time has no meaning to me. So that's my final answer.
That's a fair answer. I am okay with that answer.
He lives in a
If it-
cornfield. Come on.
Yeah. Well,
Price of corn's doing great.
farmers still need to know when the market's open. But
true.
I was talking with a random person, the poor dog groomer, this morning. I kind of feel bad because she had a calendar on her wall. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I just kind of went off a little bit, and I feel bad. And I actually
Or dog groomer.
after I had my little rant, I said, "I'm sorry, it's nothing against you. I had to vent."
The kindergarten
And
calendar.
she
is
just
the
kind of
only
laughed,
right
and
one.
she's like, "Yeah." She kind of laughed, and she's like, that it was a gift, and yeah, I agree. Monday, and the week end is Saturday, Sunday. That is the last days of the week. But it just made me just cringe to see the Saturday and Sunday split apart.
So Brandon, I'm gonna poo-poo on you a little bit. So and you should know this, that the first responder work week is Sunday through Saturday. And I'll tell you why, because there's this phenomenon called front half and back half. You work 3 days one week, you work 4 days the next. I work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and every other Wednesday. And the back half is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, every other Wednesday. So, I'm sorry, but no.
I still
It
don't agree
is.
with that.
It is weird why
So-
the general accepted calendar week is Sunday. Like,
Do you
even
get
if
up-
you're going off of the religious kind of side of it, like, shouldn't
The Sabbath.
Well, that's
So
a good point.
there are 2 Sabbaths every week. Does everyone know what the 2 Sabbaths are?
No.
Saturday
Sabbath
and Sunday?
day 1 and 2.
For the Judeo calendar, Sabbath
Saturday.
is Saturday.
Yep.
For
Yeah.
the Christian calendar, it
Sunday.
is Sunday.
Mhm.
That is
Yeah,
the
it's
reason
just-
why Monday through Friday and then Saturday, Sunday.
Right.
Right,
And
it's just weird why going with that the other 2 days should be I guess they're called the weekend, but it's just a mess. Just weird. We're weird.
Yep.
Just like time zones. We're dumb.
So weekends, as in one's ending and
no.
one's
No.
the other
So do you
end
get
of
up
the other
Sunday
It is a
morning?
weekend.
Do you get up Sunday morning and go, that was a great
What a
week.
wonderful
This'll
start
be
to a new week.
Yeah.
Would you like to look at my calendar?
Sir,
No.
Because
the dinner we're
believe it or not, I actually go to work for the first day of my work week on Sundays. So yes, this is the end of my week, and tomorrow is the beginning of my week.
Right. Individually, I mean, technically it's the same with me, considering I work on Sundays as well. But it's just strange how at least, I don't know if it's like Big Calendar that's controlling it. Some sort of weird conspiracy.
Big Calendar. There's a deep state
Yeah, I
called
just-
Big Calendar.
I
It's
just
just
don't
strange.
understand.
Is that run by Big Bird?
So, I mean, I guess the thing that just pisses me off the most is through school. Like, if you think about when you were in school, the calendars that they had on the wall, the calendars in your planner, those calendars start the week on Monday. And then at some point into, the first part of you being an adult, all of a sudden it is shifted to have Saturday and Sunday on opposite sides of your work week.
Yeah, no, it's
I don't understand why it changes like that. It makes no sense to like pander to kids to be like Saturday and Sunday are the end of the week and then Monday's the new week.
children are our future, Brandon.
If yes, but if we're going to, as a society, say, okay, well, yes, Sunday is the start of a new week, Saturday is the end of that week, they are the weekends, then why isn't that what's taught in school? My son's planner right now, he's in 6th grade, my son's planner right now, the first column on the new week is Monday. And it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday at the end of the page.
I wonder what my nomadic
Did you know that
planner says.
days are an artificial
right back.
construct that mean fucking nothing?
1 second. I'm rebelling.
Did you know that life could
be
mean
back.
fucking nothing?
Do you know
Life
that
is
money
an accident.
money is merely a constructive economic
Artificial
output?
The
construct,
human
yeah, you know.
mind, yeah.
Turns out that is what we learned is so far is everything is meaningless. We're nihilists now
Well,
here
I
at
mean,
TWIL.
you know what? We're living in a simulation, so why not? Nothing matters.
It's why a bunch of shit posters on Reddit can destroy lives
Wall
of
Street.
Stockbrokers. Not that anyone is crying, but nothing matters.
Yep.
Yay.
But anyway, unless, Cody, do you have anything else to add since you ran away?
Nomadic's wrong too. It starts on Sunday for some.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's just
I know. I was sad to see that.
okay. Well,
It's
on to my actual topic rather than the calendar fuckery rant. Eevee explosion, but which flavor? So,
Is this like a lithium polymer
Is this
battery?
Pokemon
exploding?
Go? What the hell are you talking about?
He
I am
bought
just
a
talking
car.
about, well, yes, I did. Here, I will throw up a picture of it behind me because it is a glorious car.
Ooh. It's like it's in his room.
2017 Volt. I wish. Not until this coming Saturday.
I
so
don't wish that. That would crush you, Brandon.
not if it was
The
behind
logistics
me like
just wouldn't
that.
make sense, Brandon.
Yeah, but if I had a room that big, I wouldn't have a lighting problem right
so,
now.
So you
That's
wish
a
you
fair
had
statement.
that room.
That's a
okay. So you want the
fair
car
statement.
and the room.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I made that purchase before some of the news that came out this week, but it made me very happy that I made this purchase because those of you that don't know what a 2017 Volt is or what a Chevy Volt is, it is a range extended electric vehicle. Some people call them hybrids, but I was actually also of the mind that it was a hybrid, but my insurance company set me down the straight and narrow. It is a range extended electric vehicle. And the reason that is, if you ever run out of gas in one of these, it will continue to operate. Actually, no. Now that I'm saying that, doesn't make any sense anymore because it reduces power if you don't have gas in it.
Reduces, but not.
Yeah.
runs
But,
out.
well, and I thought at one point I remember reading something about to be a range extended vehicle, it had to have less gas range than electric range. But either way, doesn't matter. According to the insurance company, that is an electric car that has a gasoline generator in it for extended range. It can run 50, this model can run 53 miles on electricity and then switch over to gasoline. And it gives you a combined total of, I think, 420 miles if you have a full electricity and
It's
full
actually
gas.
not bad. So, quick
Yeah.
question: so it always starts electric, or do you choose which one it does?
It has a couple of different operating modes. There is a hold mode that you can put it in that it will run the generator and maintain the battery charge on the EV. They recommend that for highway driving because at highway speeds, your electric motors are actually less efficient than at lower speeds. So it's better to save your electrical charge for in-town driving because stop and go is where it actually gets the most mileage because it just, when you're at a stop sign, it's not utilizing electricity except for your HVAC or radio or, butt warmers.
Yeah, throttle doesn't have to open that much to make you go. It just torques up a little bit, and yeah.
But the news that made me very happy that I got an electric vehicle, and especially a range extended electric vehicle, is from our current White House administration. They are taking a hard look at the state of fossil fuels in the U.S. and thinking about either cutting subsidies or like greatly depreciating the subsidies for the fossil fuels. The article I read quoted that the U.S. spends 649 billion with a B in fuel subsidies for foreign oil. That is money spent outside of the U.S. to subsidize basically OPEC nations.
As a measure to balance the market in order to prevent high domestic fuel prices.
Correct. Which is why the U.S. is one of the lower fuel prices on average. I mean,
Right.
In OPEC,
Interestingly enough,
swimming in this stuff.
Thailand actually has similar fuel prices to. I would actually say that Thailand's fuel prices are lower than Alaska, but probably maybe a little bit higher than the rest of the U.S., excluding California.
Okay. Well, I got curious because the only fuel price that I've ever seen internationally is when I traveled to England when I was like 13. And I remember my parents going, "Oh my God, it's so expensive over here. It's basically because it's sold in liters
Yeah, you
and
got to
because of their
convert it two
conversion.
ways. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's annoying.
you have to convert the price and the volume, and it ended up being like $8 a gallon.
Yep,
And it's
it's
like,
fucking terrible.
yeah. And so today, before I did the conversion and before I bothered to look at Canadian prices and Mexican prices, would they don't subsidize heavy, so if we cut our subsidies, we would probably be right in that range. Actually, not as bad as I thought. I was surprised.
Yeah.
I think our brethren up north is like 372, and Mexico's like 380 something.
When
per
I
gallon.
drove through Canada in 2015, was the last time I drove through there with my current truck. It wasn't terrible.
Okay.
So one thing to keep in mind that I see I might be jumping the gun here on this conversation, but I see a ramification on this on shipping. As an Alaskan, something that has been part of this is I've been hearing through the woodwork, and this might be just local people spouting stuff, or it might be true that the administration has also cut drilling too in Anwar, this is kind of, I'm going to try and be not ranty about this, but this is a pet peeve of mine. When administrations that do not visit Alaska make decisions of what Alaska should do. So
Yep.
so we are producing less oil locally too regarding this. So
Yeah.
that's
Well, and there-
just my take. I'm going to avoid saying more regarding it.
Okay.
And,
I will
and there
avoid fueling
is-
the fire then.
Yes. I
With
was going to
oil?
say the only thing
I have a very quick question.
Okay.
It's supposed to be funny.
Will
Fueling the
corn
fire.
be affected? I need to know
Are-
right
are-
now.
Are you looking into your corn futures? Are you trying to scry the corn?
Corn is not
vol?
just the future. It's my past. It's my present.
It's in his poop right now.
Constantly.
So much. I didn't see anything specifically about biofuel. Again, lightly researched. The thing I've been researching the most is the car behind me. I actually purchased a charge port, basically condom for it because of where I live. You have to protect the apparatus from freezing to itself, making painful reactions.
Why do fire stations... okay, sorry, I'm going to get way off topic with that. But the word apparatus. Why do fire stations call it the apparatus bay? Do they want to sound like crazy scientists?
Because sometimes they do have crazy scientist toys.
Like, meet me in the apparatus bay. Like, that's something you'd
That's-
hear in Half-Life.
That's not something you hear in Colorado.
Oh, okay, that's just Alaska
It's
then?
Yep.
Okay. I do wiring in a lot of fire stations for
Yeah.
my job,
Um,
yeah.
So the NFPA, the National Firefighters. Fuck. NFPA is the organizing body for fire regulations.
Oh, God.
The second F is silent.
They call fire trucks fire apparatus because they're not
National
always
Fire
trucks.
Protection Association.
Okay.
I
Thank
assume.
you. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. So that's probably why they call it apparatus bay, but they're the only fucking ones.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not here.
All right. Sorry for hijacking
But-
that.
It's all right. That's interesting. I didn't know that I didn't know that they were called apparatuses in that. I thought it was maybe just an old-timey thing. Anyway. But, yeah, so looking at that, it's hard not to look at, fuel prices potentially going on the rise here in the United States. And GM announced earlier this week, hence the frickin' calendar rant, because this is the thing I was looking at that someone was like last week, and it was on the 28th. It's not last week. Earlier this week. Anyway. That by 2035, GM will phase out internal combustion engines. And I do not like that they are saying internal combustion engines. It is one thing to say fossil fuel powered vehicles would be going by the wayside. I don't like that they're doing away with the internal combustion engine because there are...
No nuclear?
Well,
I don't know that would be internal combustion, but you could do things like biofuel. You can do things like hydrogen fuel cells that actually burn the hydrogen rather than trying to do the currently very wonky electrical conversion. Like, they're doing away with internal combustion engines rather than just switching to greener propulsion plants.
Well, doesn't that mean that they're theoretically going to be putting more money into electrical engines?
Yes,
That
but
means you
that
might want to get
shouldn't
rid of
be
your
the
corn.
only
then.
technology. Yes.
So there is something to be said for economy of scale, like the equivalent of miles per gallon for a Tesla is still calculated. If you are using oil or coal at the power plant, the miles per gallon of a Tesla is something like 90 miles per gallon, simply because of the economy of scale of how efficient the larger machine is at generating electricity. I feel like it's not inappropriate for them to be focusing on large energy production in one capacity and using that in a battery for small vehicles. I have no problem with that.
As long
it's
as you're
just,
not in
I don't.
situation
Are you-
where
Go
the
ahead.
energy cost for doing that is extreme. Like some countries around the world still use coal power as the majority power. So when you run in,
We still use a lot.
Yeah,
of
coal's
coal
still
in
the
the
number
United
one
States.
energy production
so
in the world, in
yeah,
damn near every country except for like
unless we
Denmark.
shift to other
Greenland.
things that are more cost efficient, like nuclear, like what China's doing too. But nuclear is a bad word in certain circles. Yeah.
Then there's
There's
It's one of those-
nuclear.
It's one of those things of
Yeah.
every little bit will help. And if a major manufacturer like GM announces something, they can set standards for an industry in general.
They
It's-
can. But that's part of my problem too, is they're doing away. So there's only so fast that you can charge a battery without deteriorating the amount of cycles you can get out of it.
Yeah, and I can
So-
tell you from drones and me having to dispose of 2 batteries recently because I haven't flown in a while, and the battery cells got or just in general. Now I'm sure these batteries are higher quality than my $20 drone batteries, but because one cell it was like at 3.1 volts and the rest of them were at 3.8 volts, I had to go nope. So I have one hooked up to a light right now so it doesn't become a bomb. That
So
yeah, you
is
could
your
run into battery
issue,
issues.
Brandon, the timeline?
I think it's
Because
It's
you're
not
going
even
off
the
of
timeline.
technology of now, but if there's not an initiative to push for new technology, because there are better batteries out there. I mean, we've talked about them
There
on this
are.
show. They could be done, but
But
there needs
we're
to
not-
be a focused push to do it. And at this point, and some would say there needs to be a fire under someone's ass to make it happen.
And I agree. I don't like that they're eliminating the possibility for a clean internal combustion engine, such as one
I
powered by
mean,
hydrogen.
it could just be a PR thing of, hey, look, we care. I mean,
yeah, but
it
usually
could
they
be, but-
don't use those words unless they mean those words.
it could.
Yeah.
It probably needs to be this concept. It just to say they're going to cut it. I mean, I'm assuming they're going to.
Well,
it's going to be. It's phased out. It's not just going to be.
Yeah.
They're going to 100%
It is
produce
gonna be phased.
electric or whatever internal combustion engine, and then 2035. Oh, no more. Everyone is
it will
electric
be
now. It's going to
phased.
be. Their
No.
idea is this.
Yeah, and there will still be
and it will
people
be.
using them then too, because your 16-year-olds are still going to be buying, old beaters that are gasoline powered.
Right.
Yep.
Occasionally.
Yeah.
I-
I don't like the fact that they are completely cutting out one technology when there are
Yeah,
ways to make that technology work cleanly. And even if you have to, use hydrogen, like you're not adding to the carbon footprint or anything like that, but you're able to then produce a vehicle that you can take to a service stop, put, liquid or gas fuel into, and then leave. There is not going to be that availability. You can get, 30 or 40 miles or whatever off of a 15-minute stop, but it's going to be disruptive to some extent to not have a technology to just instantly add miles into the tank.
thorium reactors, mini
It's-
thorium reactors.
It's one of those things of, again, going off of my thing, we kind of did this to ourselves.
We did.
I mean,
Absolutely.
that's the thing. If certain projections are correct, it might already be too late. for
Yeah.
any sort of meaningful change. So
If you can't get
that
food,
instead of I mean, Cody and I kind of talked about this a while ago, or well, last night, not on stream, but if humans had done what they needed to do many years ago when it was easy and the transition could have been less jarring, it wouldn't be as disruptive as it needs to be. I mean, 15 years is also a long time in terms of technology. I mean, you could build an entire infrastructure in 15 years. China's doing it as we speak.
Financing.
A lot of developing countries are doing it within 20 years. It's possible, but there needs to be a push. Needs to be a push to make it happen. Otherwise, another half-ass solution won't do anything. Just piss off everybody, and then everyone suffers because they didn't do it right. But I do understand.
Well,
but I do understand the issue with cutting out a technology. At least in that case, it might be interesting. Like in terms of, I don't know, like the shipping industry, it might be better to let them keep
that's
combustion
a concern of
engines
mine.
for a little bit longer. But the infrastructure, at least for if you live in a city, you don't need more than 40 miles to get around. I mean, granted,
Right.
and obviously there's entire populations where that will be affected, where that will matter. But
Well, and what'll be really interesting is when that comes out, and the only thing they're producing is electric vehicles. 10 years after, because you figure that's about when it
You
starts
need
trickling
overlap.
down.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And also, I don't
10
like
years after that.
I don't
Go
like
ahead.
it that they're making internal combustion a bad word when
Yep.
that is not necessarily the bad word. Like you could say emissions. I would actually agree with you then if you say emissions, but I think we're choosing the wrong. Yeah.
Potato, tomato.
Or why not just say, rather than saying, we're going to phase out internal combustion engines, why wouldn't they have just done, we are going to provide a 100% alternatively fueled fleet?
that's semantics, to be fair. Come on, like that's wasting time in some ways. I would argue the reason they chose those particular words is there's already a proof of concept that an electric car works. I mean the
Model 3.
The Model 3,
Well,
your Volt can do
the
it.
whole sexy
part of it.
lineup. I mean, the S, the 3, the X, and the Y, plus the semi, plus the truck.
I mean, other companies are doing it too. They're building the technology. Maybe, I mean, there's other factors than they chose the words.
Yeah.
They're a corporation. They did entire studies on that statement.
I know.
They're playing the long game.
I'm just a curmudgeon. I like my internal boom boom.
It'll still be around, as Cody said, and
Rocket
there will still be use
engines.
for it.
Yeah.
Are those technically
It's all about phasing.
that would be an external combustion engine?
They're internal because it's
Okay.
done inside the pressure housing and then expelled out of the nozzle.
Damn. So no rocket engines from GM.
Oh yes,
It would be cool if they brought
the
back-
rocket division of the GM car company.
You know what they ought to do? They ought to bring back the turbine and use it with only biofuels.
Interesting.
Biofuels are not carbon neutral. They are not
Interesting
everything
that you
you
say
say
that.
I mean,
better.
with
Some of the
biofuels,
787s have flown on biofuel.
but
That's nice.
you have the infrastructure problem with biofuel. I mean, we could do a whole rant episode. Maybe we should because we're starting to get a little long. But you got to do you still have to do an infrastructure change for biofuel.
Yeah.
I mean, if at least in this
You have to
country,
do
I
an
mean, corn
infrastructure
was the
change
big
with
thing, but that's also
electricity.
food,
He's on
which
corn again.
is a whole other thing
You
because
don't
corn
want
is
to
everything.
solve one scarcity for another.
Yeah,
And
I
if the
remember
idea is people
supermarkets
starving,
of
is that a better? That's not a better solution. I mean, I know there's things like algae, using biofuels out of algae. That's pretty promising, but do it at a mass scale, it's the same problem with electric. You have to. It's an complete infrastructure disruption. So
There's also the argument over the, rare earth metals that you need for some of the electric stuff too. So it's a complicated issue either way. So,
but it's like I said,
again,
because
thorium.
we didn't either governments didn't take care of it or society didn't take care of it years ago. We're limited on options. I mean,
And honestly,
someone
we're getting
eventually
ready to.
the status quo isn't going to work. At least
Yeah.
what people are saying. There's more to it, I know, but I don't know.
Well, and
I think
look
that should
at-
be a rant episode. I think I'll add that to the list.
Okay. Well, then I will keep the rest of my comments.
This is weird.
anyway.
Save him.
He's been
The-
a ranty one, not me.
I know it is freaking weird.
It's always good.
But
to
on the good
change
note,
it up.
this I will have this.
What color?
That is the
Oh.
actual car.
Call it
Nice.
Space Gray.
I like
something
it.
like that.
Nice.
Yeah, dark gray, adaptive cruise control, like all of the bells and whistles, and it was, pretty affordable. By the way, not that I am sponsored by Carvana or that we are sponsored by Carvana, but
Unless they want to.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I would love to be sponsored by
Such
Carvana.
Such a
I was,
millennial thing to do if you think about it. Buy a car online.
yeah. Well, and the delivery is gonna supposedly be like contactless delivery.
Drone.
No.
How will you get your keys?
They are going to, so from what I understand, I am going to meet this person or the delivery driver basically at a halfway spot between here and Denver.
It sounds like a drug drop-off.
Pretty much.
Basically kinda is. I mean, he's gonna back the car off, wipe everything down that he's touched in the vehicle, drop the keys on the seat. I get to take a 15-minute lap around the block to double check everything, because that's my first window of refusal. I get to try it for 15 minutes, look at it, poke it, and either accept the delivery or be like, nope, send it back. If I do that, the contracts are immediately revoked. My down deposit gets sent back to my bank. And then if I accept it, I start a 7-day trial with it, where then at the end of that 7 days, if I take no action during that 7 days, the car is mine. But if I just, find something in that 7 days, like, oh my God, it's not charging, or it's not doing this, or I can return it and get my money back. I just have to then meet them halfway again.
Interesting.
So
But-
how are you getting to the halfway part?
My parents are going to drive me. We're going to make a kind of fun day of it.
Nice.
I actually almost
Fair play,
traded
Colorado.
in. Yeah. I actually almost traded in my Subaru just because it would have made it easier. But they only offered me $200 on. Now, granted, that car is pretty knackered and like almost 300,000 miles. So resale value on it from like a company, not high. Private market, especially where I live, I can list that for probably $1,000 and have it sold by the end of the
It's
week.
Colorado. It's basically sponsored by Subaru. By the way,
Yeah.
did somebody say halfway? Wow.
Oh.
And copyright struck.
Yeah. Not just from Whoa.
We're
You're done is what you are.
Brandon.
And we're done. Colton, where can we find you?
I'm Colton Roper. You could find me in many forms, mostly corn-based, but I also am on the internet as well. Seeker4761 is my gaming tag in Twitch.
And that's how many ears of corn that we plant, or that we harvest, because we can't plant, when we play the game Scrap Mechanic.
It's true.
That is true.
It is true. Exactly.
We need to play that.
And if viewers wanted to see us play with Scrap Mechanic, they can follow me on Seeker4761 and Twitch. I'm also on Facebook Gaming and YouTube under the same handle.
Moniker.
I'm actually started a new series for 2021 Game Review Thursday. I actually reviewed a game Hexarchy, put up my first video, so check that out if you'd like.
Nice.
I'm also a contributor to the techpirate.net as well. Cody, what about you? Where can we find you?
You can find me here. I am Cody Stratman or Psychonitrous on Steam and RSI, Robert Space Industries. You can also find me on YouTube for Striving to Fail, where I have not made any new videos recently, but you can still find me there. And every once in a while, I'll appear in this guy's streams, too. So that's where you can find me. Mjolnir, what about you?
I am Charlie Stifler, or Milnar. You can find me on YouTube, Twitch, or Steam. I promise, at some fucking point, I will become a contributor to the techpirate.net.
Don't leave us hanging.
I just don't know when. I just don't. You know,
I'm all out of love.
A lot of things
Putting
happen
out the
in my life
feelers,
right
seeing how I feel.
now. A lot of things happen in my life right now. You know, life's hard.
Fair point. Indeed.
Doesn't go on a schedule.
But if
Shit.
it did, the
Like
week would
corn.
start with Monday.
As
Fuck
it
no.
should.
Fuck no.
And you would start your day with
time would not-
Slitherpuffs.
And time would never change. In a perfect world.
Yeah. Brandon.
Well, I am Brandon Vader, also known as Dracanis. On RSI, I am Dracanis Vader. You can find me, of course, at thetechpirate.net. You can find me on YouTube as the Tech Pirate. I actually need to do more content there once I get back to my normal living situation. Yeah. That's where you can find me. And thank you all for joining us on this episode of This Week I'm Learning. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as on YouTube at This Week I'm Learning. For you social media peeps out there, you can find us on Twitter at ThisTwil. If you'd like to contact us, you can send us an email to twil@thetechpirate.net. And you should all let us know what day your week starts with. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Cody. And this is why you're
should I
not
do
allowed in
more?
school zones. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, God, Brandon.
The light doesn't help that.
Are you sure? Because Andy's man's.
I mean, if I'm going to have waxy flavored chocolate, it's gonna be Andy's.
It's gonna be a Tootsie Roll.
No, we've had
Nobody
this
knows
discussion.
what that is.
The flavored
it's not
Tootsie Rolls are the
chocolate.
best.
It's just
It's not chocolate.
it,
It like
it's
had
like
cocoa sprinkled into it, and that's it.
yeah, it's like Slurm. You're gonna find out that it comes from like the butt of some creature, and that's what Tootsie Roll comes from.
It's 2021. Everyone eats
I was
ass.
going to say, and nobody's going to care because they're too addicted to it, just like Slurm.
Right.
Yep.
Maybe.
It's the slurmiest.